Okay, so we will be waiting for around 100 participants before we start. Okay, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, let us know if my voice is clear, everyone.
Yes,
Yep, it's
Ritesh,
clear.
you're
Yeah, I want the audience to respond to me as well. The co-hosts are fine, but I want the audience to respond to me. Okay.
Yep. Everyone just write in chat if whether the DB is audible or
Yeah.
not.
So I'm audible properly. Saloni, a check from your side as well.
Yeah, am I audible? Can you please write down in the chat box?
Yeah. See, you are asking, a lot of people are answering. I'm asking, no one is answering.
OMG.
Know the answer.
Okay, and just quickly, is my video clear enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so is my video clear?
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
So we are waiting for 100 participants, and I guess then we'll start.
Yeah, let's wait
Nitin-
till 7:05.
There was the guy who just raised his hand. You have anything to ask? You can just write it in the chat for now. Okay. All right. So we are just 6 people away from hitting a century, and as soon as we hit that, we will be started. We have 5 more people to join. We're waiting for them. Then we'll start. Okay.
We have cross century.
We have crossed.
Yep.
For me, it's showing 97 people.
Just check now. It's 100.
Yeah, it's
99 actually.
Yeah, it's different for different people. I don't know why. See, this is the
102.
reason you can contribute to Zoom as well and make it better.
Yes, open source.
Yeah,
Make an
it's
open source version of it.
104. Actually.
Okay,
101.
so yeah, it is crossed 100, and I guess we can start with introductions and everything. Saloni, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Guide to Placement talk. Now, this is a joint initiative of the 4 chapters of IEM CSE department. For the first time in history of IEM, GDSC, CIEMK, ACM, and CSI have planned to host events together. So we introduce you to one of the initiatives that we have planned, which is Guide to Placement series. We'll be hosting these events from time to time. So get ready to witness the thrill. Now I would ask Ritesh to elaborate further.
Okay, so by thrill, we mean your own self-doubts, and not just yours, like our self-doubt as well, because even we suffer from a lot of inferiority complex, that whether if I'm doing the correct thing or do I need to take another path as well. And one important, very common queries between you and us as well is that we have a lot of placement-related queries. So this session is really aimed at making you aware about all these particular procedures and all the real life experiences of your own seniors who have gone through this situation, and they will be coming out and speaking to you about these particular situations. We do have a lot of situations and a lot of seniors who will be coming in this series. For at present, the names that I can take are seniors who are working at CERN, who are working at Google, Adobe, as well as some of Oracle SDEs as well. And today also we have our very own senior. We will be introducing him in a short while. So before introducing our guest, I would quickly lay down some of the ground rules that we'll be basically following in this entire session. So first of all, we'll be taking questions which you have sent to us while you were registering. We'll be asking them directly to Soumik here. And you can also, meanwhile we are asking your questions, you can also write these questions in the chat, and we can take up those questions as well amidst asking these particular questions. At the very end, even you can directly talk with Soumik and ask your questions live to him as well. So let's go forward and introduce our
Let me
guests.
just add one point. Please don't write any college name explicitly in the chat box. We'll all write everything in a generic manner, okay? Like, we'll not mention
Yeah,
any college name because people
yeah.
from various colleges are present over here.
Yes, so let's not
Please be
take any
mindful.
colleges' names. We'll just keep it focused to a generalized manner. Like if you want to mention a specific type of college, you can mention, but don't mention college names or anything. We don't want to go down that lane. Okay. So let's quickly introduce our guest. Today we have with us our very own senior from IEM, ex-alumni, ex-IEM. We have Soumik with us. Soumik Nandi, who is at present software development engineer from Amazon. So Soumik, can you just quickly give me an affirmative whether am I clear, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, and sorry for that mess that I did with your introduction. Okay, really sorry about that.
No worries.
So we are
So,
planning at more of a very interactive and informal talk session at present. So that's the reason we are not that much, prepared with all these function lavish things as well.
Yeah,
yep.
so we welcome you in this session. And as we proceed, like Ritesh mentioned, we'll be taking up your questions and like the questions from the audience that you people wrote and you sent it to us while registering for this event. So before that, Ritesh, would you like to?
Yeah. Okay. So before we start, I'll just have some of the general questions which everyone asks before starting any session. So how are you doing in this particular lockdown?
So it's kind of a monotonous routine that I'm having, honestly speaking. Uh, Not being able to go out much. Also, like as 2021 graduate, we did not get much time to, live our third and fourth year, which is final year is basically the most like the
Hmm.
amazing year a
Hmm.
college grad can have. So yeah, we just missed it.
Okay.
So yeah, going well, just with work and stuff, enjoying.
Even you have missed your final years, but we missed the very early years where we could do some outside fun as well. That we are trying to meet.
Yep.
We are hardly left with a year or so.
Yeah, we hardly left with a year or so, and we did not even see the second building of the college. So that's
Yeah,
quite disappointing. Okay, so shall we start with the questions, Saloni?
yeah. Let's start with the question.
Okay, over
So
to
my
you then.
first question to you is that you have been a part of Amazon for quite a long time now. So how is it like to be a part of Amazon?
So like being a software developer at an MNC like Amazon, specifically means that you are working at scales that we're talking about billions of customers impact here at Amazon, or for that matter, any big MNC, or even startups, right? They are basically whatever products or services that they're making, they're having a customer base of about billions, right? So
Hmm.
you get to know a lot of stuff which goes on in these companies to serve at such a big scale. So yeah, definitely being a part of Amazon is amazing. Learned a lot, met amazing minds here in Amazon. Yeah, and every day I'm learning, honestly.
That's
Okay,
really nice.
that's really good. What I would like to ask is, you did transition from a college life, a lockdown-oriented college life, to a professional who is at present working at Amazon. So, what do you think are the challenges that you faced in this particular transition, and while you got placed in Amazon? So, what was this transition and your journey throughout that?
Okay, so this question I would like to answer in two parts.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's say professionally, right? So
Yeah.
when I was a college grad, when I was attending lectures and stuff, so I did not have that much experience, or rather I would say expertise with systems, with real life projects and stuff. So I had a hard time coping up in the first few months, like 2 3 months. It was really hard for me. Things were very unclear. I did not understand much of the system and stuff. And yeah, but as we, like, as you work in a company, you generally get used to it. You get used to the system, the code base, and everything for that matter. And the other one, like socially, right? So being a college grad, personally, me, I was always a very carefree kind of a guy when I was in college. So now you cannot be much, kind of a carefree when you're working in a professional firm. You have responsibilities, you have liabilities that you need to, consider. You have like people, as I told you in the first place. So whatever we do will impact billions of customers. So you have to have a good sense of ownership, a good sense of responsibility while working in an MNC. So yeah, like first few months it would be hard. It naturally is for most of them, most of the people. But as time passes, so yeah, you get used to it pretty much.
Okay, glad we have you in this session so that we can get familiar to the working culture and everything as
Yeah,
we
the
proceed.
professional world, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the next question is how to make your resume strong.
Okay, that's a very good question actually. So there is not a single pathway to making your resume strong, I would say. Like there's not some set of rules that you have to follow to make your resume strong and competent enough. But at the same time, there are certain nitty-gritties that you can definitely follow to make a strong, a good looking, a good, strong kind of resume that might get you shortlisted to good companies. Like most of us being in the second and third year, they don't understand the importance of resume. Dumping every information that you do in Microsoft Word will necessarily not make your resume extremely good. There are certain things called resume parsers. So as you can imagine, all these MNCs, so like hundreds and thousands of graduates every year apply to these MNCs, right? And only a handful of them get the, gets the test link for that matter. Test link, I mean the first online assessment that is being, conducted. So there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. One is just this sheer scale of application necessarily means that not a single person, or even for that matter, not a group of person is reviewing your resume. It's all done by an automated system. So there is a system in place. Different companies have different kinds of implementing them. So these systems, what they necessarily do is they take up your resume and extract certain keywords from your resume, and match against the job description, and then your resume gets automatically shortlisted or automatically rejected. So it's pretty important to maintain a format in in whatever resume that you are making up.
Mhm.
And like personally speaking, if you can make a resume here in latex, like most of there are templates, there are hundreds of templates of resumes here that we have in latex. If you just go to overleaf.com, you'll find a ton of resume templates. You can edit them and you can just make your resume good. That's for the format part, right? Now if I come to the content of the resume, what should be your content? So like most of the companies look for a variety of content, if not that they're specifically hiring for a particular role. So if there's a startup that is specifically hiring for front end engineers, let's assume, then I don't know, it will impact your resume score if you have published few papers related to machine learning, right? So it's all relevance that they look for. But in companies where the role is uh, not specific enough, let's say in Amazon, my role is software development engineer, right? So as a part of this role, we do front end, we do back end, we do testing, a lot of other stuff, right? So they are not very generic enough roles. So for these roles, your resume should have a good mix of projects. Definitely, that's a very important thing. Be it personal projects, be it open source, be it any pet project that you have, maybe an app that you have published and even 10 or 20 people are using it, then that's amazing actually. So projects is a must section in your resume. The second thing is if so basically what happens after a second year, after first or second year, students, especially BTech grads, are doing, their BTech in computer science and IT. There are definitive two paths that most of the students splits up into. They either do competitive programming or they either do development oriented stuff. So if you are into competitive programming, make sure that you have enough recognition, uh, enough testimony of your work that you can showcase in your resume. If you are into development, then also, like, make sure that you have good apps, you good softwares that you have done and people are actually using it. That's a very good and strong point. Apart from that, you need to have a good data structure and algorithm skill, definitely. And it's always a bonus for certain roles that you have research papers. So for if you go to my LinkedIn and if you see my resume, you'll see that it has a good mix of development, a good mix of research work, internships. So there's a lot of people who come up that whether internships are necessary or not. That's, like, I'll save it for later. But internships is always good, actually, if you have one or two, even like basic internship at any random startup, local startup. It's actually good because internship necessarily means that you have worked in their culture. You have, you know, uh, you are quite acclimatized with the professional structure, professional work that they do. You have your work impacts customers that they, basically fetches. So yeah, that's pretty much a basic formula of resume. How your resume should look like
Resume building.
structurally.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that was really a very nice
But
explanation.
I would like to mention one point here. Arnab, are you here?
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah. So let's do one thing. What we'll
Mhm.
do is we will give all the attendees a basic format at the end of the session of the resume in LaTeX, so that they can go through, like they can pass through all the screening. Because I also got rejected when I earlier applied using the Word kind of documents. Remember, Soumik, that I had a conversation with you regarding that. Like
Yes, I think
quite
that's
days.
when I told you this point, right?
Yeah, this latex one. And then I had to
Correct.
again go find the latex thing. I had to build entire thing with the class and everything, and then I had to build the entire resume. So let's give our audience at the very end of the session, we'll give our audience a basic template on how to build resume, right? A basic template of the resume, right,
Yeah,
Arnab?
sure.
Yeah,
I
so
will
get these
provide that
points.
link.
Yeah, get these points. Okay.
Yeah.
Really thank you for that resume building points here. What the next question is about is more like a comparison. It's like what is the difference between job requirements and the actual jobs that we are doing. Let me just like amplify the questions what it means about. Like in Google, you all you do is you solve certain queries and you solve a certain problem that you, or a bug that is being like worked on, right? But when the job requirements come up, they ask you about all these algorithms and all these DSAs and stuff. So what is the difference between in this job requirements and this actual jobs?
Okay. So that's a very subjective question, I would say, because if you don't generalize much, then different companies have the different ways of interviewing people. Like one of my friends, he got a job as an application developer in Gojek. So his whole interview was, basically it revolved around software engineering, system design,
Mm-hmm.
application development life cycle and all those stuff. So he rarely had, I think, just one DSA interview.
Mm-hmm.
While if you speak about companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they mostly conduct just DSA interviews paired up with some basic like CS questions
Yeah.
in their rounds. So yeah, so first point is basically we need to understand that all these companies have the different ways of recruiting, right? Depends on the job profile that they're looking for. The second one, as you said, what is exactly the requirement versus what we do in, while working at these companies. So let me tell you my personal experience. So basically, I did a lot of DSA while I was preparing for Amazon. I would, crunch lead code and stuff all day long.
Yeah,
But when I came here, at Amazon as an intern, so I was an intern first. Uh, First 2-3 months, as I told you, I did not understand anything, and I did not see any significant, relationship between what I did when I was preparing and what I'm doing now. So it's rarely that you use, you know, CP or algorithms here in the development field. But again, exceptions are there. I would not deny that. But at the same time, see what is development. Basically, you have a certain problem. You have a front end that people interacts with. Your front end calls an API. API goes to the back end. Back end goes to the database, fetches the data, gives to the customers. That's the general workflow of a software, right? So
right.
in the whole transition, like from the front end to the back end to back to the customer, uh, not a lot of algorithms are there, right? There are algorithms, but not a lot. So uh, uh, like I have heard one of my friends explaining a beautiful problem that he had while he was working in one of these companies. So he applied graph algorithms there. So that's one of the rare occurrences that you get while working here in these MNCs, where you get to apply the algorithms. But like in a general scale, over a period of 2 years, 3 years, when you'll get promoted, when you'll become a senior software engineer, you'll be mostly into designs. You'll be mostly into making a system scalable, a fast system. Have you ever wondered, like Google, right? So Google
Yeah,
has a lot of indexes that they use to index their web pages, correct?
yeah,
So
yeah,
whenever you type a query, Google returns around a billion results in less than even 0.006 seconds. So how does Google do that? Like all these must be cached somewhere, or might be there is a very fast algorithm that is working in the background. So all this scalability, all these latency related problems you have to solve, and it involves a certain knowledge of algorithms, but mostly like 60-70% of the time you don't get to use them so much. So basically, in these MNCs, like big MNCs, they focus on the delivery, they focus on the correctness and the latency, a little bit on the latency as well. But they try to make it as simple as possible. So I like one of my seniors here at Amazon said that uh, you have to write a code that not only works, that lives. That means once you write the code, and even after 3-4 years, your code is only being used somewhere at some place, or your code is being read by someone at some different place in a different team sitting in a different country. So your code has to be very maintainable, very user friendly, and not much complex in general sense. So yeah, so it's two different things, definitely development and DSA preparation and stuff. But it's always good to have a knowledge on DSA because it enhances the problem solving. So
all right.
when you get to senior positions and you get a raw problem from the customer, a raw issue that you need to solve, that your company needs to solve, to modulate this whole issue into a proper problem, and telling your juniors what to do, how to do, when to do, using what data structures and stuff, then your algorithm knowledge will be at work. But as a junior developer, you don't get to use much of them.
Okay, so we can't ignore DSA in colleges, right?
No, you can't actually. That would put
Yeah,
you in trouble.
yeah.
Okay, so the next question is that where to start the coding from and what can be the best platform to do so? And the person has mentioned explicitly for service-based company, as well as how do they differ from the product-based company?
Okay, so that's again a very good question. So let's first talk about service-based company, then we'll move on to product, right? So okay, so firstly, when you talk about practicing code, that means essentially you want to better your problem-solving abilities, right?
Right.
Again, there is not a particular single resource although lead code is a good resource, but it's not like everything. You have a lot of other good resources. But what I would specifically say to a, let's say, to a junior who is starting off with his coding journey, is to first understand all the data structures. Forget about algorithms at all, right? There are no algorithms as such. Forget about them. Start with data structure. Let's say you have arrays. So every data structure comes with certain operations, right? Insert, delete, query, sort, things like these. So understand how they work, like how you can manipulate data inside a data structure, right? For example, let's talk about graphs. So before jumping onto a graph problem, understand how you will traverse the graph. How will you insert a particular node or delete a particular node from a graph? Do all this first, right? When you are good with it, you have certain tools in your toolbox, which are these operations and how they are done, and you can solve basic problems, right, with all these. So if you, let's say, you learn merge sort in an array, and there is a problem that involves sorting, there is a problem that will get easier if you sort the array, then just go ahead and apply, pick this tool, sort, transform it, like, give it to your array gets sorted. So this, you have used your knowledge as a tool, right, to make the problem easier, right? Now, after you do this, then when you are well versed with all the data structures, so we mostly have arrays, stacks, queues, linked list, all this stuff. So when you are well versed with just the basic operations, then try your hands on with some algorithms. Now, let's say queue. Okay. Now, okay, let's say linked list. Fine. So there is a problem that you want to reverse a linked list, right? Let's say there is a problem that you want to reverse it. So you know how a linked list works because you have previously known how to insert, delete, and search and all this stuff. So you know how to traverse in a linked list, how to insert a node and all this stuff. So you are well versed with the pointer technique, like how to point a particular node from the in a linked list. Now you go ahead, take a whiteboard, try to reverse a linked list of size 2. So just one node and the second node, try to reverse it. If you can, through maybe temporary pointers or any of that sort, try to reverse the linked list of size 3. If you still can, that means you are necessarily solving the whole problem. So what you can do is approach in a step-by-step manner. So do first, for this is for specifically service-based companies. So in service-based companies, I have personally seen, although I don't know all of them, like how they conduct their interviews and how hard are their questions. But I have given a lot of service-based company interviews in my third, fourth year during that time, and there I came to see that there is a good amount of a good amount of easy medium questions, right? So they are mostly based out of arrays, stacks, queues, all this stuff. So you don't get to see a lot of questions on graph or stuff in these company interviews. Whereas if you go for, let's say, Google, right? So if you go and give a test of Google, like pick up the previous question paper of Google online assessment, and if you go about, you'll see the data structures are simple, but the algorithms are complex. So they'll give you certain questions that might be solved using arrays, but the manipulation inside the arrays are quite complex to grasp. So for me, if I tell you a way of preparing, go to first learn all these basic operations, insert, delete, and all this stuff in any data structure. Go to lead code, select the easy tag in the lead code there, and see there are some data structures that I mentioned in the lead code, so you can filter the questions out using all these filters. If you are well versed in array, go to easy and do the first question. If you can, do the second one. If you still can, then start applying binary search. So what I mean by binary search is, first question is the easiest, last is the hard, right? Do a middle question. If you can able to solve the middle question, then go to the lower half, right? So that means you have a strong technical knowledge that you can, a good algorithmic knowledge that you're able to solve the medium one. So solve 3-4 medium questions. If you can solve all of them, go to the second half. So now your arena is between medium to hard, right? Again, apply a binary search. in the last question is the hardest and your starting is the medium one. Take the middle of that question, do certain 3-4 questions. If you cannot, then that means your arena currently is amongst the medium one, right? So
Mhm.
that's your area to play. So you solve all the medium ones and that's how you progress, right? So it's all binary search. You just have to find the point till when you can solve the question. Okay, that's one strategy. The second one is basically company specific preparation. So if you have very less time, or if you are you know uh, nearing the interview date, so your interview is about 2-3 weeks from now,
Mhm.
so you just go ahead, go to Geeks for Geeks or any other resources for that matter. But I specifically prefer Geeks for Geeks because these questions are uploaded by the interviewer, by the interviewees who was there, who got the question in their own interviews, right? So they are
Mhm.
basically uploaded by students like us, who have actually got this question in a real interview. So go to company preparation, and there you'll find the most relevant questions that you can do, and I assure you that that will cover a lot. So first do lead code, get your problem solving abilities to at some scale, then go to Geeks for Geeks, just prior 2-3 weeks before your interview,
Mhm.
and do the company preparation questions. So let's say you're preparing for Amazon, just go ahead, go to company questions Amazon. You'll see a lot of questions that were contributed by the students itself. So you can just go ahead and do them. That's a good strategy, I would say. But if you are already into competitive programming, if you are glued to code forces, then I don't think you need much of problem solving abilities, because you already have a lot.
Mhm.
Because competitive programming takes good amount of problem solving abilities. Then my suggestion would be, still just 1 week prior to that, go to company questions and do them just once. That'll just help you see the pattern, like the question patterns in which the company asks.
Well, that
That's the
is a good
whole thing.
algorithm to succeed in interviews, right?
Yes, that's
That's the
that's
whole
a
algorithm to
good.
succeed in interviews.
I have tested it myself and it worked.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that answer. Let's take up the next question, shall we, Saloni?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would just like to mention that we will be taking up your questions in a while, so please wait for
Yeah,
some
we'll take a few more questions, few more
from the chat
pre-registered
box.
questions, and then we'll go shift to chat box for a few while. Then again shift back to the registered questions, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question, Soumik, that we want to ask you
Hmm,
is, since we talked about all these service-based companies as well as product-based companies, but for all these
mhm.
companies, we do need to consider some things, right? Some pre-placement considerations need to be made done. So what are these pre-placement considerations that a student needs to take care of?
So like, can you elaborate a little, like pre-placement as in?
As in, the exact question is, what are the things to consider before placement? So what they want to say is, just before placement, what are the things that they need to consider, in particular, in sitting in that particular placement?
Okay, okay, got it. So like if I get the question right, it's basically what are the prerequisites of
Yes,
sitting in a company, or
prerequisites of
like will.
sitting for a
Yeah,
placement, right?
right. So what are the must do things that we need to look for
Yes,
before
exactly.
applying for placement? Okay,
Mhm.
got it. So first and foremost, uh, almost all the companies, they have a shortlisting procedure before they allow you to give their test. Mostly, not always. Mostly it's based out of CGPA, right? Like your CGPA, what is your score in your cumulative score that you have in your BTech, or like up to that point when the company is coming. So in that scenarios, I'll advise you to have a CGPA greater than 7.5. 7.5 is a good score. Like, yeah, like that doesn't mean that you don't study and just sit back and शोमिक दा ने बोला है 7.5 सही है तो मतलब 7.5 से ऊपर नहीं लाएंगे. No, not that,
तो
but
घर में
7.5
झगड़ा
is a
कर रहे
good.
हैं कि सौमिक दा बोले 7.5 ही चाहिए, इसके ऊपर
आप
लाएंगे ही
उससे ज्यादा नहीं ला सकते.
नहीं.
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't necessarily mean that. But a 7.5, it's a good score to clear the cutoff for most of the companies. So for example, Amazon has a cutoff for 7 only, right? Last year it was 6. So a lot of people was able to give that test, the Amazon test. Google, for example, does not require any CGPA as such, right? So 7.5 is a good score, so that's number one. CGPA, you need to have a good CGPA. Second is no backlogs at the time of preparation, at the time of interviewing. Like if you
let me just interfere for a while. You mentioned no backlog, so does that mean that they can actually clear it before, right?
yes, they need to clear it before. So if
Okay.
you are applying at 5th semester and you have a backlog at, let's say 3rd semester, you need to clear your backlog in 5th semester and then apply to the company.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah, clear. That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So that's the second thing, no active backlogs. Yeah, that's the right word, active backlogs, right? You might have
Active
backlogs, but
backlogs, yeah.
not in an active current state. Yeah. The third thing is definitely you need to research a little bit on the job profile that they're offering. So if you go about and apply and get shortlisted even to an application developer profile with let's say blockchain background, then necessarily you won't be able to make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the third thing. Fourth thing is your preparation. Your preparation should be up to the point. So basically, when I was applying, I knew that my preparation was up to the point. That's why I applied in the first place, to be very honest. Otherwise, I would have retracted back and I would have applied around as an off-campus applicant, I would have applied. But when Amazon came for full campus, so I did apply because my preparation was good, somewhat good. That's what I felt. Yeah, and the fifth thing is you might invest some time, like let's say a day or two, in making a good resume, right? It even if you get shortlisted, uh, make your resume speaks a lot for you. So let's say you get shortlisted, and in the upcoming rounds, uh, in the face-to-face interviews, someone like the interviewer picks some random things from your resume and they ask you questions on that. So be you know sure, like be sure to get thorough with your own resume. So if anything is being asked from your own resume that you have prepared, be sure to answer that. Be sure that make sure that you have all the details of what you did, all the knowledge of what you did and what you wrote on the resume. That is a very good point. Often what happens, if people you know do something and write it in their resume,
Mm-hmm.
and in the upcoming rounds, in the face-to-face interview, if the interviewer asks you anything related to the resume, a lot of people I have seen personally have not are not being able to answer the interviews, and that's a very bad impression that an applicant can create on the minds of an interviewer. That's a very bad thing. Make sure not to do that thing. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was mostly all the prerequisites that you need to
Sit for
sit in
placement.
prerequisites.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did
correct.
mention while talking in the last answer that there are a lot of off campus and pool campus kind of stuff. So the next question revolves around this only. So the person wants to ask how many different rounds are there in a placement, as well as what is the difference between these off-campus and on-campus placements, as well as if you could just add on that pool thing as well, like what is pool campusing as well. So that would be good.
Mm, cool. Okay. So let me first elaborate on the pool campus stuff. Then I'm
Hmm.
coming to off campus slash on campus.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, a pool campus is such a a placement drive
Hmm.
where people from different colleges can sit for few positions in some company. For example, Amazon came for pool campus
Hmm.
in my year, so when I was graduating. So there were 17 colleges across West Bengal that sat for the same exam, same time, same date, same position, right? Now you are not distinguished on the basis of college, so your performance will speak for it. So once you sit for the same, so all these shortlisted applicants, whoever sat for the exam, if they get shortlisted, they will go through the same interview process again, irrespective of your college or anything of that matter, right? So it's called a pool campus. So pool campus consists of multiple colleges, students coming together and applying to one position, and tests are being conducted for those positions for all the colleges as one single process, right?
Okay.
Now on campus, as you might be knowing, so let's say a company came to our campus. So when I mean our own campus, that means the company will take students from our own campus, right? So they will not entertain other people outside your campus to sit
Mhm.
for their exams, sit for their online assessments. So
Right.
it specifically means the competition that you will be, having will be the students of your own college. In pool campus, the competition is a little more vast. So it will have multiple students from multiple different colleges.
Mhm.
And when we speak about off campus, which is, which has a bad name for being the toughest
Yeah.
process, uh, it is basically when you apply as an individual to a position, and based on a lot of factors, you are shortlisted to attend their online interviews or not. So basically, it necessarily means that you don't know how many applications are there for that role. So it's safe to assume that you are necessarily competing with a lot of, like like
A lot of
thousands
people. A lot of people.
and thousands of people. Yeah,
Right.
exactly, a lot of people. But if we talk about the process remains same for off, pool, and on. So it's just how hard it is how hard it is to get into the process, that what matters. So in off campus, to get into the process of interview is a little hard. In on campus, it is not much hard. In pool campus, again, it's a little hard. So once you are inside the process is same for all the candidates. So every candidate, irrespective of off, on, or pool, they will go through the same set of questions, same set of interviews, same set of same structured interview, and everything will be the same for that matter.
Okay. That was nice.
Okay,
Saloni?
I
Yeah.
would just like to add on to this question that how can we get to know about these pool campuses opportunities? And especially for the companies,
Hmm.
sorry, for the colleges that does not receive that much MNC attention. So how can they actually apply? Like, is there a website through which we can like we can just get to know about it through that? Or is there something else we need to
uh,
keep an eye on?
okay, so there are some mandatory uh, websites or community that you need to join. One
Okay.
is basically and definitely LinkedIn. So just make sure that you have an account on LinkedIn, that you know that what is going where. So if you see a post, someone in your batch has gotten into Amazon, that means, through an off campus, that means Amazon has some openings for our campus people right now. So
Okay.
you get to, know the, like, where and where to apply and when to apply. That's the another thing. When is a very important word, actually. So if you apply in the off season, you don't get much of a response from the recruiter, right?
Okay.
That's the first thing that you need to do. Definitely follow up
Mhm.
LinkedIn. Make it a habit to at least browse LinkedIn every day, 10-15 minutes before you go to bed. It's a good practice, trust me. I've told a lot of people this previously also, and they do follow, and they do get benefit from it a lot. So
Uh,
that's
just
a
just
must thing.
just a very short mingle question. It's Don't you think LinkedIn is getting a little bit too too much formal these days? Do you understand like too much in quotes?
I get it.
Yeah, because everybody is like, I got up in the
Yes,
morning, I wrote a good quote, and then they're giving a picture of something which is non-relevant to that quote. So
exactly. So make sure that you follow people who are not into this too much in quotes.
yeah, okay. The relevant
So
people
yeah,
in
that's
LinkedIn.
correct. If you follow Kunal, founder of Cred,
Mhm.
you'll find amazing things on his wall. if you follow people like senior developers, software engineers who are working in big tech companies, you'll find a lot of relevant stuff. Someone has written a blog, they'll share the blog. It's not necessarily for content. A lot of time, these blogs actually contain a handful of information that you can use. Someone in LinkedIn, I was seeing today only. So his whole wall is about what are the different opportunities that are present at this moment. So he made a list of companies, the batch eligibility, and where to apply. So this information, if not for LinkedIn, you would hardly find it anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Except for some Telegram groups. Definitely there are some Telegram and WhatsApp groups where these updates are there, but like if you follow LinkedIn also, you'll get a lot of update, a lot of awareness, right?
Yeah.
The second thing about this, like the second important thing about off-campus placements is uh, getting to know someone who works at the same company that you want to apply for. So if someone comes up and tells me that Shomikda gave me a referral to a certain job, a job ID here at Amazon, uh, you at least have a point of contact who can give you a referral, and that will speed up your interview process, right? So making connections, making relevant connections is very important, and keeping up with their keeping up with their connections, having a little chats, maybe a week, like a bi-weekly chat, like how are you doing, what are you working on, how does it feel, and all, a little chat that they get to know you, right? That's second thing.
Professional
Third
socializing,
is
we would say.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
a very great word. Professional socializing. Yep. The third is you can actually have certain websites, you can actually follow certain websites. I'll give the website link, all the website links to Tritesh, that Tritesh
Yeah, sure.
will share it with
We
you.
will share it with you guys.
So
Okay.
correct. So these websites basically they update whatever information that they get from other resources. We don't really care from where they are getting, but they are basically, they give relevant information for all these off-campus opportunities. So I have followed a lot of them, and I'll just suggest two websites that I'll give it to Dritesh, or I'll write it in the chat maybe after some time. You
Yeah,
can
sure.
follow them, right? And they also have a WhatsApp group that you can join, a Telegram group that you can join, and they keep on posting all these updates of off-campus opportunities. Right. The third
Great.
thing is, yeah. So the fourth thing is another point which is very important and you cannot neglect, especially in an off-campus opportunity, is the resume. Again, so your resume has to be super strong. If you're not
Yeah.
going through a referral, then your resume will speak for you, right? So your resume has to be strong so that you get shortlisted to that particular opening. So if you keep all these four things in mind, I think off-campus will be a little easier, and a lot of people are like, they have no idea how an off-campus thing works. So keep all these stuffs in your toolkit. You'll be able to make the off-campus process a little easier, I would say.
Okay. Just a quick thing. You mentioned that asking for referral to people that we know from that company. So, repetitive asking, like, there are some people who are just nagging, and that kind of toxicity we don't need, right? Just to just to make the
No,
audience
yeah.
clarify
So
about that.
yes, exactly. So not that. Hello, Shomika.
Yeah.
I am from IEM.
Yeah.
Uh, can you give me a referral to the job ID? This. That's not the correct way of asking. Hello, Shomika. I'm from IEM. Batch this. I have this amount of this knowledge on this and this part.
Mm.
Here is my resume for your reference. Can you give me an opportunity to this particular job role? Give the ID of the job role, and please make make your resume name a proper one. Resume one, resume final, resume 1, 1. These are not good names, right? The
No
reason why I'm
version control here, guys. Okay. No
telling
version control
exactly.
here.
So the only reason why I'm telling this is because so as a referral process, we need to upload your resume, right, to all the portals where we give you referral.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, what happens? the manager, like the recruiting manager who is recruiting, they just brush through all the resume names, and whatever feels significant, they'll open, they'll see. Right now, if you say let's say resume 1-1, that's a very very unattractive thing to have in a professional network, in a professional
Yeah.
community. That's a
Mhm.
very bad thing to have, right? So name your resume in a proper manner. Also, again, like going back to the very first question, actually, also have your resume in a proper format so they can be parsed in a good way, in a proper way, right? Maintain a format. Overleaf is the place to go for that.
Right. That is a very good session. Just a quick thing. I don't know. I'm not like the guest speaker here, but still, like I heard this technique where you can just select all from your resume and open a notepad and paste everything, and then you can see how your resume actually looks in a text format when it's going through the program. Like I heard
Yeah,
this
that's a
tip.
very good thing, actually. I don't know, like, whether it works perfectly, like whether that's the way to evaluate. But yeah, I have also heard a buzz around this earlier.
Yeah, like I heard these kind of tips, so I just confirmed with you. Okay, so we did ask some of your registered questions. We do have a lot more, but
Let's
we will now like to switch towards the chat. Okay, we would like to go from the very first, Saloni, right?
uh, let's take up random questions. Like, will that be fine
Yeah, yeah.
from the chat?
Soumik, is it fine?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a question. Now that everybody is getting above 9 CGPA somehow, so will that affect our placement? Like, will it raise the bars, like the what do I say, appearing criteria for a particular company? Like you just mentioned, that's
Uh,
getting
yes.
7.5 can be
I
enough. Yeah. So
Yes. Okay. So if you let's say you are going to a company, you are going to an off-campus placement, and you have this resume bar. So specifically at this point of time, since everyone is having 9 and stuff,
Yeah,
since
eight
we
nine
are giving exams
CGPA. Yeah.
online, right, right. What I feel like, my hunch would be that they will entirely eliminate these criterias at like totally, like no CGPA based stuff. Because if you keep CGPA based stuff, let's say, they'll definitely not raise it to 9. That's for sure. Like 8, 9, they'll definitely not. Either they'll keep it the same or they'll remove it entirely. That's what my hunch is. Although, like, I haven't seen any company, like even if you see today's job openings at Amazon, they still have these minimum criteria of 7. It's been around 1.5 years of COVID, but they
Mhm.
still have the same thing.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So the next question that is quite subjective. So it says, how do I gauge myself to be up to the point in quotes? So yeah,
Okay.
it's like personal. How do you get
Okay. Like, how do you
personal
better
motivation?
yourself?
Because even if I'll give my yeah, and even if you face
Huh.
rejections, like if you apply for internships, you face rejections, then
Yes.
how can you go through that phase? How to keep yourself motivated?
Okay. That's again a two-part answer. So one is from the student's perspective.
Hmm.
So if you are applying and you get rejected,
Hmm.
take a moment uh, and analyze what you did wrong that made you, that made the interviewers reject you. Uh,
Hmm.
were there problems that you could not solve in the coding round, or were there questions based out of CS fundamentals that you were unable to answer? So work on that and try to better yourself from these rejections. So that's point number one. Point number two is basically from the interviewer's perspective. So if anyone here has applied to Google before for any internship or stuff, you know that Google has a very nice culture of telling the interviewee what you did wrong that made us reject you. What was the you know thing that you did not perform up to the mark, and that's why we rejected you. So
Hmm.
I believe that if more and more companies follow these kind of interview policies, then
Hmm.
student will have a very proper pathway. Like student will be having a very clear understanding of what they did wrong. If not, if the company doesn't speak like why you were rejected and stuff, you sit, take some hours, introspect your interviews, and try to figure out what went wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are unable to figure out, let's say you performed extremely well in all the interviews and still you got rejected, well, let's call it a bad day then, because there is no logical reason for you to get rejected in that case.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. This
Okay.
is kind of a little bit personal. You may choose to answer or may not choose to answer as well. Someone is here that how did you apply for the internship? Like, was it from the website or a referral? And what was your experience, your personal experience, and your personal review of that interview?
Okay, cool. So, acha, before I answer this question, I would specifically want to mention that I cannot uh, tell you the questions that were
Yeah,
asked to
no,
me, but I
yeah,
can give
it's
you an
fine.
overview of the
Yeah,
interview
yeah, yeah,
process.
definitely.
Right. Okay. So, firstly, the interview was a pool campus one. So, basically, around this time last year, uh, IEM, our college, like the college that I belong from, since there are multiple different colleges here. So I'm telling the college that I belong from. So basically, they posted a job ID, right? That Amazon is hiring. Amazon is having a pool campus. Uh, Come ahead and apply, right? It was a pool campus event. As I mentioned again, so there were 17 different colleges that applied. We all got the test links, right? Since we all qualified for the minimum cutoff CGPA. We all got the test links, and the test was held at the same time, same day for all applicants. Uh, the test consisted of few sections. So some were mm, um, uh, logical questions, some were coding questions, some were code debugging questions, and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
specifically, there were four sections, right, in total. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the fourth one. It was, I think it was uh, some logical only. Yeah, it was some logical questions only.
Right.
So after that, we got around 1 week of time, post which the shortlist was there, like the shortlisting of candidates happened, and there were a handful of around 130 students from all 17 colleges that
Mm-hmm.
got to the next level of interviews, that are face-to-face interviews. So there were two face-to-face interviews for the intern position that I gave. One face-to-face. Okay, so all of them two were of 1 hour. So no extension, no deduction. It's just 1 hour straight interview. Uh,
One was
yeah.
that
Now,
regressive, or what that was, that kind of eased out or flow kind of interview?
yeah, exactly. Coming to that, so it basically depends on the interviewer how they want to test your skills in that 1 hour window.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the interviewers asked DSA questions. Again, it depends on how many questions would be asked to you. Entirely depends on the interviewer again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was asked two questions in the first hour,
Right.
in my first face-to-face interview, and it was mostly composed of only data structures and algorithm questions only, no relevant computer science fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
The second interview was taken by a senior engineer, and he introduced himself, and he started off a little around computer fundamentals, a little chat on OS and stuff. Then he jumped, been around 10 minutes. Then he jumped to the questions, the DSA questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the DSA questions, again, I was asked two questions, but it is again not mandatorily that you'll be asked two questions only. You can have n number of questions. A lot of my friends were asked 3-4 questions in this 1 hour period. So they'll adjust. They'll either trade off the complexity, or they'll either trade off the number of questions, right? So it's a trade off between these two. So basically, that's how the interview is designed. After that, we got our shortlisting, and yep, got the internship. However, things are a
Okay.
little different for
I would just like
full
to ask.
timers.
I would just like to ask
Yeah,
that
tell me.
how much importance or weightage does aptitude has? Because there's someone who has written that how much time should we spend or devote while
Yeah, like
preparing for
in
aptitude?
your interview also, like
Yeah,
how much time was aptitude worth for?
yeah.
Okay. Again, personally speaking, I did not invest much of my time in aptitude. I maybe invested a cumulative of 1 month,
Mhm.
like not straight 1 month, but a cumulative of 1 month. Like I did a very I was not organized much. So whenever I felt like not coding and stuff, I moved to aptitude and did some questions from online websites and books. So but it's always it's always advisable that you have a proper schedule, that you schedule your daily routine, like how much time will you devote to aptitude and stuff. But from my personal experience, not much is needed.
To
uh
complete it again.
Again, yeah,
Okay, so
exactly, but
like,
again there's
can
yeah,
starting
there's
from
a
third year
little
or
I,
fourth year be good? Like,
I
or
also
should we
have
start
another
from first
personal
year itself?
question. Okay.
Yeah, or should we just start from first
We're
year
just
itself?
showering him with questions, right? He's also feeling like they're just bouncing one question after the other.
We're sorry for that.
yeah, like before I move to this, I just want to tell a very important point that I missed in the previous question is it again depends on your goal. So if you are going for a fintech company, maybe Goldman Sachs and stuff, you need to be very versed with very well versed with aptitude, right? So it all depends on your goal, what you want to do. If the company that you dream of has more of logical questions, aptitude questions in their shortlisting rounds, then again you will have to practice a lot. So start with some basic aptitude questions. As you go in your preparation journey, you'll be able to figure out how much time you need to invest.
Okay, so that is clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So Saloni, what was the question now?
Yeah, you're jumping up slowly.
Yeah, that was the only question. I was just asking that can we start from third year, fourth year, or we just need to start from first year itself, like preparing for aptitude?
Uh, the early bird catches the worm. So it's always advisable to start early as soon as possible. But even if you're in the third, fourth years, yeah, you can make it up. Like I started in my sixth semester, which according to me was very late. But I was able to make it up. Yeah, I need to put a lot of midnight oil, but I was able to. So if you don't want to do a lot of rigorous preparation, then start early. If you're okay for rigorous preparation and you'll do whatever it takes, that attitude, then you can delay a little bit, but don't. From my personal experience, I would say just don't delay it.
Okay, so any suggestions like from where should we start, like practicing aptitude, like some book
Oh
or
yeah,
maybe
right.
some resource?
uh yeah, correct. So again, like I did not invest much of my time in aptitude, so probably I would not be able to, I did not explore much in this field. I would not be able to tell you what are the exact good resources, but I found a YouTube channel that I would share that I followed
Mhm.
personally, and it was very good. It was kind of a crash course, and I followed that only. No books, nothing as such. I followed their questions. They had these practice papers and stuff. I did them only, and it was sufficient for my goal. Again, it's for my goal. Might not be proper for your goal.
Yes, it's subjective.
Thank you.
Whoever wants what kind of
Yep,
Yeah.
placements, right?
So I think we should get
correct.
back to the pre-registered questions now.
Yeah. Because that would be
Okay, so there's a question like how to deal with a company in case of talking about packages. So basically, is it negotiable or it is just like what the company mentions?
Yeah, like before answering this question, I'll let everyone know that I have pasted the YouTube
yeah.
channel from where I did the aptitude, so you can
Yes,
follow it.
we will
Okay.
be giving up the link
Okay.
as well at the end of the session.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Okay, so now coming to negotiable offers. So yes, offers are negotiable. Definitely they are. Uh, but you need something to negotiate with. So if you hold an offer from company A with, let's say, 10 LPA package,
Mhm.
and then you go to company B, then you crack company B, and company B is offering you 11 LPA package. then you can negotiate that I want this percent of hike, right? Now you just don't go ahead and tell the interviewer that no, I'll not join the company if you don't give me this percent of hike. That there's a proper way of responding to that question, whether your offer will be negotiable or not. So you might say that, being at this XYZ company for around 1 year, or like let's say for that matter 6 months, I have learned these many amounts of skill. I have had this expertise in this field. I have handled this project for this customer base. So, I guess uh, I'll be eligible for a 50%, 70% hike, right? Like, ask properly, like, not just, I want it, so I want it. No, that's not the way. So, that's the thing. Offers are definitely negotiable. But again, if you are a fresher, uh, freshers offer are generally non-negotiable. So I haven't seen a company HR calling up a fresher and asking how much would you like to take as your annual CTC. It's generally non-negotiable as a fresher because it makes sense, right? You don't have any other
Yeah,
competing offer in your hand. But if you have, you can give it a shot. Like, definitely you can give it a shot.
it all
So
depends
basically,
upon
if
the
we have,
will.
yeah, basically, if we have more than one offer, we can consider like
Correct.
negotiating. But if we are not having it, we'll go with whatever is being offered, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Just a very quick question. I'm not suggesting in everyone's case, but for example, if someone is getting an offer or a package or an on-campus placement after his BTech, on campus or off campus, a placement for say he's getting a placement after his BTech. Okay, so should he go towards the placement, or if he has got an opportunity to study for higher studies somewhere, so should he go to the higher studies or the placement?
That's entirely a personal thing. So that totally depends on the student themselves, like what they want to do. I have had friends who had offers from Adobe and stuff, but they
Mhm.
preferred
Higher
MS.
studies.
I have friends who had offers from a very good startup, but also offer from different like very good universities. I cannot take the name definitely, but
Mhm.
uh, again, he chose the startup to work in a startup because his attitude was he wanted to develop something that is used by hundreds of users. He want to see his work. He want to see his impact that it creates around the world. So it totally depends on the attitude of the student himself,
Person. Okay.
herself.
All right.
Yes.
Going back to the registered questions, I have just a very like unique question. It says, "Do I have to be strong in English or any such kind of like soft skills?"
Uh, okay, that's an interesting question. Mm, okay, so most of the interviewers do look out for soft skills. They do. I won't lie, but uh, technically, it does not really matter. Okay, so if you have an amazing skill set, they'll take you either way. It really does not matter.
So, like, does it play a role in your career, like having those specific set of
Yes.
soft skills, like English
Right, right.
or leadership or such kind?
Correct, correct. So yes, certain soft skills like ownership, leadership, these are very important because, as I told you in the beginning of the session, that a college student and a working professional, they deal with different kind of environment around them. So the professional community, you need to convey certain people. Let's say you have your junior developers. When you become a senior developer, let's say 2 3 years down the line,
Mhm.
when you want to convey certain information or want to convey certain uh, if you want to give a KT, like a knowledge session to them,
Mhm.
right? So you need to convey it properly to your junior developers so that they understand. So just for the sake of having a good conversation, of having a proper conversation, so that you are able to convey what you are actually thinking in your mind, then the soft skills comes in play. Like they comes in the picture. Otherwise, technically it does not matter, honestly.
Okay, well, that
Okay.
is quite motivating for a lot of people here. I know that personally because a lot of people have been asking me about that thing as well. So I guess your questions have been answered, right, guys? Just a quick affirmative in the chat box because you guys have been sitting quite silent for a long time.
Can we get some responses, please?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you for the responses. Going
Thank you.
back to the
Thank you
next
so
question.
much.
Saloni?
Yeah. So the next question is that is doing an internship really necessary? That too in third year or fourth year? Like, is it a mandatory thing? I mean, obviously, it will leave a great impact, but can we do without internships as well?
It is absolutely not mandatory, okay, but it is highly recommended. So there's a little difference between high
Okay.
recommendations and mandatory stuff. So if you are not being able to get any internship by hook or crook, then it's not at all a problem. You develop projects, you make good projects, and you can showcase them in your resume.
Mhm.
But if you can, again, yeah, don't settle for less. Like, don't
Don't
go to
give up at the
internships
very
that
end.
doesn't, yeah, like doesn't, don't, even if you get an internship in the second year and it doesn't pay you well and gives you a lot of tasks that basically messes your work life balance, probably don't take it. Wait for a better opportunity, but don't settle for less for internships, basically. Again, like, don't even aim very ambitiously for internships, because most of the internships that that are offered to second year students, second third year students, are startups or like not very big companies. Majorly, like, people do intern in big companies in their second third years, but most of them, I'm speaking for the general public, don't assume that you'll be having a internship stipend comparable to a IT professional who has been working actually. So don't even assume that. But again, don't settle for very less. If they are making you work a lot for a very little amount of money, don't do that. I
Okay.
personally feel, and I have told it to my all juniors, that work should never be free, right? Whatever you're working for, you need to get
Shouldn't
paid.
be free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about that internship thing, I do have a very dark corner in my Gmail, which is tagged rejections, and it's filled with a number of rejections that I've been facing from a lot of companies that I've been applying to. And it's general. I guess a lot of people here have been facing such rejections. Like, even if I would mention, Devjit is not here, right? Is Devjit here? Okay, Devjit is not here, but I, and there are a lot of other, like, we guys, we have a group, and like, in there we discuss about these things as well. Like, we have a very dark corner in the Gmail account where it's tagged rejections, and it's filled with all these companies who rejecting us for no reason. They are saying that we appreciate your interest, but we are so sorry that we can't take you because you don't meet up the expectations. And I don't understand whether is it that I am third year that they are not taking me, or whether is that I don't have the skills for them to take me. So, like,
Correct. So
what's the
it's
dilemma between?
correct. So see, my funda is clear. I count my rejections as I count my successes. So both of them have equal uh, importance here. So rejections make you a better, a more competent candidate, right? So I'll tell you, a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine,
Mhm.
a lot of people here might know. He's from our own college. So he has been rejected for a lot of companies earlier. So he was rejected in Amazon interviews. He was rejected in digital interviews, TCS digital interviews, and a lot of companies for that matter, right? He was. It was around uh, August 2020, right, when all this happened.
Mhm.
Uh, 1 year down the line, he's working at Goldman Sachs as an analyst. He has offers from Amazon. He has offer from Flipkart. He has cleared rounds of other, like, very big companies. He has been a finalist in Uber. There is a contest now for Uber hiring.
Yeah.
He was a finalist there. So that's the whole thing, if it's not, if it was not for that rejections that he had made, uh, probably he wouldn't have done, he wouldn't have come this far. So it was all the rejections that made him, work hard. And as you can see, like the company who rejected him 1 year back, he has offer from the same company now, currently, as we speak.
Okay, so that means even if we are like not able to crack a internship, so what we can do is we can still work on projects rather than being disheartened, right? We must
Exactly,
keep doing
exactly.
something. We should not like sit back.
Yes, exactly. You should do something.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now there is a question how to start for non-CSE student. Like being in a core stream, can we still switch for IT jobs? Like, can we still switch to IT jobs?
Yes, definitely. Nothing is, stopping you from learning CS concepts, doing data structure algorithms. When you sign up for LinkedIn, they don't ask what branch are you in.
Yes.
So just go ahead, sign up on LinkedIn, practice questions. So it makes no difference, absolutely, literally no difference if you are from a non-CS background. You can still make up to it. The only problem in your part will be to manage time. So basically, we as CS students, we learn operating system as a part of our curriculum, and the same subjects is being also asked in the interview. But for non-CSIT students, this a little management of time is needed at this place. That's it.
Yes.
Nothing else.
And I guess if they do, then we have this dual set of skills, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a very good point that you mentioned, Ritesh.
Also, this is quite a fun question, and I guess you will have fun answering it as well. Like, is attendance a real thing while sitting in placements? Or not just attendance, but is score, like 12 standard score and all these things that we have crossed, like do these really play a role when we are sitting for placements?
Uh, so for 10th, 12th standard marks, I have like personally I've seen so many job openings applied to so many different companies, but I've never seen a company asking for 10th or 12th standard grades.
Mhm.
So uh, probably you can safely ignore it. Again, probably 99.99% of the companies won't. But if you're aiming for that 0.01%, then you will have to, right? Also, like if you plan to do MBA and
Mhm.
stuff where these grades really matter, then you will have to have a good profile throughout your student career. And coming up on attendance, again, it's very subjective to
Mhm.
the colleges that are conducting placement interviews.
Yeah.
So if your college asks for a lot of attendance percent, don't take them very lightly. Uh, Make up for that.
Yeah. So don't absent classes, basically, guys. Please do be available for your classes. Okay. Yeah.
And now, what attendance is there? Like it's all like already everything is online.
All digital attendance.
Yes, exactly.
So no, there have been a lot of incidents where people are like not attending classes because yeah, digital ही तो हो रहा है. So क्यों? So that thing, that myth, I need to ask you that why is attendance really necessary and why is that thing? That is the reason the question was asked. Right?
Okay, got it.
Okay, Saloni, please continue. Uh,
Yeah, just a second.
yeah, I guess we had one person asking a kind of DSA question to you. Like, should I say that, Shomik? Like that was a legit
Damn.
lead code question.
DSA here. Damn.
No, we will be taking it
Ritesh,
afterwards. Then. Yeah,
give
yeah,
him
yeah,
the link of our DSA group.
yeah. We'll
Sure,
definitely give
we'll
him the link.
we'll send the question over there.
Yeah,
Okay, now there is a question that project, paper, or internship. If you were to choose one, what would you choose and why?
If I were to choose one personally based on my goal, which is becoming a software developer, I would select internships over paper.
Okay. And I can see a question in the chat box. Like, did you write any paper in ML that, like, did it help you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have two papers published as we speak in machine learning specifically. So from the field of whether it helped me in the interviews, no, because in the very first I told you that if you are preparing, if you're a blockchain developer and you apply to application engineers job post, the skill of blockchain might not help you.
Mhm.
Similarly, if I were to apply to a machine learning field, then it would have tremendously helped me, the research paper, right? But since I applied for software development, I did not, get any benefit from those papers.
All right. So you can,
But do mention them, right?
yeah, like you,
Yeah,
however,
but
Do
can
mention
use it
them during
later
the
on, right?
interviews.
it did like create an impact on your resume. I think so. Like,
Yeah, definitely. That's true. It did create an impact, and I also like so before every interview, you need to introduce yourself. So mention that I have had two research papers before. They're all
Al-
published in these
Also,
articles. It
just
it
for
has a
these
positive
research
impact.
papers, just for these research papers, I need to ask that, are these research papers more related towards college event research papers, or they are more like internationally published journals or nationally published journals which you apply to externally? What was the papers about? Like which papers to talk?
Okay, so amongst the two papers that I have, one is one is I think it's Stringer.
Mm-hmm,
So it was basically an event held in our college,
mm-hmm.
and the second is applied outside college. It's Nature's Journal, so it has a very good
Yeah,
impact.
nature is good. Yeah.
If you go ahead and Google Nature's, you'll see that it has very good impact. So yeah.
Okay. So the next question is also quite interesting, like this as well, and it kind of is giving you a challenge as well. So it says, in 4 words or in 4 points, just mention the simplest and intellectual path to get a guaranteed job, whereas guaranteed is written in caps. So you understand the feeling of that guy, right?
Wake, code, sleep, repeat.
Huh?
could you please
Pardon?
repeat?
Yeah,
Wake,
this one was good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
code,
can
sleep, repeat. That's it.
Okay.
wake, code, sleep.
That's really nice.
That is really good, but don't make your life dark by, like, just coding for the whole while.
Ah,
Take a little bit.
don't
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Don't literally take my words. So what I
Let's take
mean by
little
this is,
breaks
if
as
you
well.
want a if you want a guaranteed job, you need to be a good problem solver because, like, don't take my word for it, but you can also see, right? Like most of the interviews are conducted around all these DSAs and stuff, problem solving and stuff. Most of them. So
Yeah.
overall, be a better performer, be a better problem solver.
And be a happy person, right? That would also,
Exactly.
I
Be a
guess,
happy person.
yeah. Okay.
Don't let your guards down. Don't curse yourself just because you got rejected somewhere.
Okay. So I think the next question is quite related.
Yeah,
If
and
I'm
it's
not
quite
interested,
contradicting as well.
yeah, like if I'm not interested in coding, what are the set of opportunities I still have? Like, what are the different job profiles I can still apply in?
Ah, yes. That's a good question. So since, like, we uh, you know beat the bush around all these topics all the time, so it's really hard for those people who are not interested in coding to get another opportunity or any other opportunities as such. There are a lot of profiles. You can be a QA engineer, quality assurance engineer. You can be a machine learning engineer. So
Mhm,
yeah, so coding in the sense, I'm assuming that problem solving, DSA, all these stuffs, right?
mhm.
You need, like, or is it totally devoid of language? Are you saying that not interested in coding means, is it totally devoid of any programming language,
Mhm.
or non DSA stuff? What do you mean? Let me clarify it first.
See, I don't know what the person is meaning, but from my personal experience, I've seen 2, 3 people who are personally not interested when they see code? Like they do, I won't mention the name, but I can mention branches.
Hmm.
Like I have friends who are from EEE as well as EC branches who
Hmm.
are interested in getting these IT jobs, but they are not that much interested when they see code. So what is a breakthrough for them? Like how would they
Oh,
perceive
got
it?
it. Uh, yeah. So one of my friends, he was from IIT Kharagpur.
Mhm,
So he has gotten a job as a embedded engineer in Qualcomm,
mhm,
right?
yeah,
So, and all of his interview revolved around microprocessors, revolved around logic gates, all this stuff, electronic stuff, right? So he not even once was he asked any question related to coding and stuff, related to DSA and stuff. So you can be an embedded engineer, you can be a QA engineer, so you can be an SDT. SDT means SDE test, a test engineer, right?
mhm,
So, so basically, as a part of test, so one of my friends again, so he was very, very offset when he heard the word coding and stuff. So he is now, SDT at
mhm,
some startup, a good startup,
mhm,
and as a part of his job, he writes test cases that needs to be run in a particular system, in a particular product or software. And I think that, like, I have seen his work personally, like he's a good friend of mine, and I haven't seen that he for once writing any code or stuff. So they have a particular software where they put in certain values, put in the test cases, and they just hit the run button and stuff like that. And so it does not involve coding. And that's a good profile. You can be a QA engineer. So as a
mhm,
QA engineer, again, you need to understand the flow. And just before, so basically, as a part of QA engineer, you need to break the code. As a part of SDE, you need to make the code. So basically, being a QA engineer, you can find a lot of corner cases where not technically, not programmatically corner cases, but logically corner cases. Let's say I write a program, add two numbers, let's say to divide two numbers, and you being a QA engineer, you said, hey, what will happen if I have the denominator as 0? If I do not keep a check there, so my code fails there, right? So these scenarios you can come up with even if you don't have coding. Apart from that, you can be a security engineer, right? You can be a machine learning expert, right? You can be a data scientist. So all these stuffs are really important. Like it's not, like, I would recommend, like, if you are not into coding,
mhm,
you don't like coding at all, like it's totally negative,
mhm.
then just don't hunch that you will not even get any IT Java stuff. You will get, and you'll just have to explore a little bit. That's when LinkedIn comes into pictures, right? You
Right.
can go ahead and ping the people like, hey man, I see that you work as this in this company. What was your interview like? What is your job like? Do you are you involved in a lot of coding and stuff? So
Mhm.
use LinkedIn. So more than me, people who are actually working there will be able to answer you better.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Thank
Uh,
you for your answer.
the next question is kind of personal again. You may choose to answer or may not choose to answer as well. Okay. So the question
Mhm.
goes like, just to know about your college journey, what is the one thing that you would consider your college life to be incomplete without? Like, what is the one thing that you would think would make your college life incomplete if you didn't have that?
I still don't have that. I want my last year back.
Okay, so the
That
last year
that
online thing kind of ruined the entire 4 year college, you'd say.
Yes. We like, believe me, we had so many plans going on around the last year, like trips and stuff. We did not enjoy.
Talk about
That's
us. We
We didn't
are
even get
in
the
the
time to
online thing.
plan
Yeah,
something.
we are like, even if
yeah,
we are
exactly.
planning, like
Yeah.
2 months is it's open, and then again there's a lockdown. So it's all
So can't,
shut.
Yes, that's very sad.
yeah, but we can't help it. Pandemic. So
Yes. Okay,
okay.
going to the
Yes.
So shall
going
we
to the
move
Be at
on?
homes, guys.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was saying that be in your homes, like don't
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
roam.
right.
Stay home and stay safe. Okay.
Yep.
So moving on to the next question, difference between offline and online interview. Okay, so let me I think, are there any differences? Do we have more rounds in online or offline?
Like you already answered it, right?
No. So
Okay.
it's basically, honestly, process-wise, there's no difference. Psychologically, there is a lot of difference. When a screen comes in between you and your interviewer, you are a lot less nervous, right? But when you go ahead and give an offline interview where your interviewer is sitting across the table, your nerves are at peak, right? So, like technically and process-wise, there is no such difference. Psychologically, there is a lot of difference. Like me myself, I was very worried that like how will I fly to Bangalore, sit across these senior SDs
Mhm.
and deliver. Like it does make a difference. If you are someone who has given an online and an offline interview, both you will relate to what I'm saying.
Kind of a feeling like safe space. Like, can we relate to that? Like it's our own safe
Yes, like
our home is our own safe space, and we kind of feel
yes,
confident sitting
definitely,
there. Yeah.
exactly, definitely. The environment also matters. Yes,
Yeah. So basically, it's the same thing as you mentioned earlier about on and off, right? Yeah.
correct, correct.
Okay. So
It
the
has some
next.
perks as well. Like
Uh-huh.
you can get to know your teammates. You can have a lunch with them.
Yeah.
You can talk with them. So yeah, it has certain perks. You can
Okay.
get to travel to cities. That's so like
Yeah.
free food, free travel. That's a very good thing.
Okay, so Shramita, this will be the last registered question that we'll be taking up. I know we missed up a lot of your questions, some of you guys who might have asked, but given the time frame, we could have cut it down and made it precise to these many questions only. We do have many upcoming sessions in which you guys can ask, but we will also have one live Q&A session where you guys can talk to Soumik live, and after this question we will conduct that live Q&A part. Is that fine, guys? Just an affirmative in the chat box, that would be great. Guys, some responses. Yeah, okay, so I got some responses. Yeah, now let me take you back to the last question, last registered question, and it's more of a letter to you, and I would read you this directly without changing anything. So it is like, to Soumik da, comma, it says, it may happen that there are some students who didn't get a good placement as much as they expect. So, in your view, what challenges did they face, or what inabilities they had so that they didn't cope up with good company? Also, like, how can we improve on those particular part that we are lacking in, that they lacked in, that we don't want to lack when we are giving placement?
Okay. So the question is more of there was a deserving candidate who did
Yeah,
not get the
yeah,
company that
yeah,
they
yeah.
deserve. What might be lacking?
Yes. And
Okay.
what are the situations that they might go through, and what options do they have at the very end?
Yes. Okay. So that's a good question, I would say. So basically, the thing is, if you are someone who has all the competency to crack a good company, but somehow you were not able to. So again, like as I told earlier, also first take a little bit time, introspect. What's the issue? Uh, if you're able to find, that's very nice. The second thing is key. I have seen a lot of my friends. They have, you know, gotten into good companies, but once they get into them, they lack the proper competency that it needs to survive in that company. So the same goes for these category of students who are very deserving, who have done a lot of hard work, but might not be able to crack
So the
certain interviews.
situations might
So
might have been.
correct, correct. So there might have been, a bad situation. Maybe, um, let's say I'm someone who has done a lot of hard work, and then when I go down to the interview room, my nerves are on peak. I go ahead, I know the answer, I miss the answer, I come back shattered, knowing that I won't be getting through the interview. So there are a lot of factors. In fact, even soft skill comes here a little. You know, it plays a little role here as well. So if you know the answer perfectly, but you're not being able to convey it to the person sitting across the table, then that would be a problem. So a lot of times it happened in my internship as well. I was telling something to someone, and he heard it. He acted accordingly, but later I realized that he totally misinterpreted me. Right. So that basically means I don't have an amazing soft skill. Right. Like I'm not being able to convey what I want to. Right. That can also mean that he might not understand well. But yeah, it's either way. So develop on your soft skills a little so that you are just able to convey what you're saying. That's point one. Point two is it takes a mental toll on you. I know I have a lot of friends who were deserving, but they did not get. So it takes a lot of courage to come back and prepare again. So just don't give up. Prepare. Uh, one day or the other, you will shine, right? So because you are preparing, that will not go in vain. That's for sure. Take my word for it. That will not go in vain. So basically, have a positive attitude. I know it's easier to say, but try to have one and keep on preparing, right? That's the important thing. And introspection. Introspect on your preparation, introspect on your interviews, what went wrong, what might have happened. If nothing is wrong, everything is perfect, again, call it a bad day, let it aside, travel fast, right?
Yeah. So
Very
let's
well
say
answered.
motivated. Let's not get like we're not getting demotivated on anything that is happening, right?
Yes, it's easier to say, but try to. Like, I'm not
Try.
saying just, go out and party for a rejection. No, but try to.
Okay.
Like, try to have a calm mind.
Okay, so
That,
matlab, we should not party for a rejection, but we should not be depressed about it, right? We
yes.
should be neutral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We
Just
should be
have
neutral.
just have
Yes.
a cold drink and just go over it.
Yeah, just
Think
have
of
a
the
talk
next
with,
one.
exactly. Have a talk with your girlfriend, boyfriend, your best friend, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Tell them how you feel. And yeah, just move on.
And prepare for the next one. That's the thing that is future that is coming, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Prepare for the next one. Yes.
Yeah. So
Opportunities will get many.
So, okay, so
here
Just
let's
prepare.
get, yeah.
here so herein we end the registered questions, and now we will be unmuting you guys so that you guys can ask Soumik your questions as well. Just quickly raise your hands up, and then we will unmute you and you guys can answer your questions. You guys can ask your questions. Okay, sorry. So the first person that we're having here is Shayantan.
Shayantan, yeah.
You here?
Shayantan, please, yeah.
Yes, I am here. Hi. Hello,
You can
Soumik.
ask your question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, tell me.
So the thing is, like, I mentioned it maybe in the registered thing, but maybe they missed it out. So I was thinking, like, for the internships and the job opportunities, how and when might be the good like time for applying. I know we can check it out on LinkedIn and stuff, but what is the like the season for these internships and job opportunities?
Correct. So it depends on the company. So when I was preparing, so I made it very clear to myself that I would not be applying until it's November or October period, because that's when Amazon opens their portal for applications. So that's the thing that you need to do. You need to do a little research on your part, a little one, that when this company was hiring and stuff. So if I speak about more companies, so Amazon has two opportunities basically. So if you are coming in the November time, you'll get a 6 months intern. If you're coming in the March April time, you'll get a 2 months intern. uh, and if you're coming in the SD one, then June July is the time that you apply. here at Amazon. Why I know this? Because I have done my research. I don't know how it works in Facebook because I haven't done my research like how Facebook has and when is the peak time, right? So do a little research, and there are some trustable YouTube videos. Not all. There are some trustable YouTube videos that you can see. They basically mentions about all the opportunities and when they come. Also, as a part of my previous, as a part of a previous question, I told you to subscribe to some off-campus websites, so they will also help you tell like when is the opportunity coming next. So these are few things, but as a like as an absolute answer to this question is there is no as such, I will not be able to tell you a particular time. You will have to do a particular, a research at your end, right?
They have to need to
Talk to
make a
some
cheat
people
sheet.
over on LinkedIn. Yes, please make an Excel. Please make a, a notepad where you keep track that which company opens application for which position and what is the month of the year that it opens. So make 3 columns: company, position, month. That's it. That's all you need. I have one prepared. When I was preparing, I listed around 50, 60 companies, but like not me only. So me and along with like 2, 3 people from our batch, we wanted to make it, to good companies. So we divided all these 50, 60 companies like 20, 20, 20, 20 tum kar lo, 20 tum kar lo, 20 tum kar lo. So just talk with people, and we made a whole list. I think it's lost now. Otherwise, I would have shared. Even like if I find, I would share it with Ritesh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it would be a great help.
Yep. Okay,
So,
so Shantan, I guess
So,
your question is answered.
yep.
so next
Thank
up
you very
we
much.
have Prakash Veer. I'm just unmuting you 1 second.
Yeah, you can unmute, right?
Yeah. Like, can I ask the question?
Yeah,
Hello,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, please proceed.
hello, Soumik. Like, my
Hello,
question is
Prakash.
like,
How are you doing?
yeah, I'm doing fine. It's quite good today. So I
Good.
just wanted to know that if a person is good in like coding, also like he likes CSA and all algorithm stuffs, but he has
Hmm.
a keen interest in machine learning or like any other field which is quite popular. So if
Hmm.
he or she is thinking to pursue in like fields like ML engineer or data scientist or so is it
Hmm.
like what kind of companies we have to look for, and how we have to prepare for that, or are there good internship opportunities in that field, or we have to stick to SD roles only? And one more thing, like if we are going for ML engineer or post like this, then like
Hmm.
is it necessary to have a like not a best, but if a person has good DSA skills, then is it good, or we have to do excellent in DSA too?
That's a 16 marks answer.
Okay. 20,
20
Ritesh.
marks answer.
Okay. Okay, jokes apart, yes. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities. The immediate company that comes to my mind when I speak of ML engineers is Deloitte. So Deloitte hires a lot of ML engineers. Infosys does, and a lot of other companies. So basically, what happens is, if you are, applying for these ML posts, tests are conducted only on ML. Yes, it's totally conducted on ML only. Huh. So it's no, like, how am I able to say this? Because my roommate is a senior data analyst. He's a senior ML engineer, data scientist. Yeah, to be the correct word. So uh, he has told me that most of the questions are related to ML only. So all the interviews will be, related to ML and AI and Python and stuff. So you will need a particular language to, where you will apply all these ML things. So generally it's Python. The go-to language is Python. So they'll test proficiency in Python as well. But DSA, they will not ask. That's for sure. So, and for opportunities, again, for opportunities, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is get a first-hand experience from the people who already are in the field. Ask them how they got it. Place to do so, LinkedIn. Second, uh, those websites that I told you. Those websites actually, like, I still receive a lot of um,
Like I can
calls
name
and a
one.
lot of
I can name one that's
uh,
Glassdoor.
yes, Glassdoor is a good website, but what I see is people mostly use it for reviews, like reviewing a company
Okay,
or
okay,
stuff like that. So they, uh, like when they want to join a company, they just review it on Glassdoor. But
okay.
rather than that, there are some websites like um, I don't know exactly at the top of my mind. I don't have a name with, but definitely I'll come up with some website that I followed. I just have to search along in my history. That's it. So join those WhatsApp groups, those Telegram groups. They do actually, they legitly they give you all this openings. It's a legit thing. So they'll give you openings saying that it's 0 to 1 years of experience, and you'll actually get that. So you can, if you apply, you'll actually get a call back. So so there are very rare websites that do this, but it is a thing. So I'll tell you the thing. I'll tell you the website actually. The second place to look for these niche roles is Indeed and Naukri. So Naukri and Indeed has those companies who look for very specific very specific roles, very niche roles of in their company. So I have personally, when I signed up in Naukri, I received a hell lot of uh, calls asking for whether I would be interested in a machine learning engineer position or not. But by the time I received them, I was already interning here at Amazon, so I rejected all of them. So this is the thing, that you will get opportunity. Just sign up on Naukri and Indeed. They are very um, they suffice very well, but people don't, they really don't know about these. They think that these websites are for experienced professionals or something of that sort. No, it's not. So they're very underrated. So you can use Naukri and Indeed. You can use LinkedIn and 2 3 websites. You can subscribe to their WhatsApp, WhatsApp group and stuff. You can join their WhatsApp group. So these 3 4 things will surely give you a lot of opportunities, because I have had it myself. So I can assure you that you will get.
Also, ML people have their own kind of algos, right?
Yes, ML people have their own kind of
Algos to look
interviews.
after.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so the next question we have from Manisha Gupta. You hear Manisha?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask that when I will get to know that I'm ready to apply for internship, or like what are the checkpoints, like this I have to do, then I will be uh, start applying.
Uh, Internships, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Cool. So for internships, when will you know that you are prepared, right? So see, for clearing the interviews, okay. So for clearing the interviews, uh, be thorough with DSA. I'm assuming that you are targeting MNCs, right? Uh, be
Yes.
thorough with, uh, yeah, be thorough with DSA. When will you know that you are well prepared in DSA? Go to these lead code contests. So there are weekly contests that
Weekly,
happen
bi-weekly.
every week.
Yes.
Yes, every week, weekly, bi-weekly, all these contests keep on occurring. So if you see that your performance is good, like if there are 6 questions, if you can solve 2 3, that's actually an amazing, because the last two generally are hard, right? Hard, very hard, those kind of segments. So if you are able to solve three, I would say that you are prepared enough to crack a good MNC. If you are able to solve two in a consistent, like in a long run, if you're able to solve two, so if your performance does not improve even after practicing, let's say for 6 months, then take some more time and prepare those concepts that you are unable to solve. So it's always a overloaded progression that you have to do. So, for example, I'll tell you, I was doing DP one fine day in my third year, and I understood just nothing, just zero. So it was all just it was all Chinese, it was all Mandarin to me, honestly. Like I did not understand anything. Why, when, what is the thing? What is this? Memorization. What the hell is this? So then I followed an amazing tutorial that you people can also follow. It's Aditya Verma's YouTube channel. Aditya Verma is an SD1 at Flipkart. So he has an amazing DP channel. So once he placed the intuition in your mind, na, कि ऐसे होता है DP, it's nothing but this. That intuition will help you a lot, honestly. So again, I shared it with Shantan a long time back. So I was very bad at all this. It was in the beginning of my preparation. So I was very bad with linked list and stuff, right? So I did not understand recursion, like how to apply recursion to a linked list. Then what I did was I purchased a whiteboard and I purchased a marker. So all the linked list problems, the actual change of pointer in the linked list, I mapped it line by line on my whiteboard. And from then on, even like I don't know whether you people will believe or not, but I even asked my Amazon interviewer that, I would like to use a whiteboard. It's right here. You can see the whiteboard. You can see that it's empty, but I would like to use it. Can I use it? So he said, yes, definitely you can. So this, once the intuition and once the visual thing is clear to you, problems would be much easier to you, much. And as I told you, the preparation metric is basically give contest. If you if you uh, see that the contests are going pretty well over a good amount of time, let's say 2-3 months, and you're already solving three four problems consistently, then definitely you are prepared. If you are not being able to solve 3-4 problems consistently, maybe 1-2, then definitely you are underprepared. Take some more time and prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya, for the answer.
Okay, I raised the hand next. So I
Hitesh,
yeah, I raised the hand next.
actually,
Yeah, yeah.
before that,
Uh-huh.
Rahul has sent a message that he's having some audio issues. So he just
Yeah, this
wants his
second year, right?
question. Yeah, he
Okay.
wants his question to be read out.
Okay, so what Rahul is asking is, should we start development from second year only, or should we give second year only to DSA and then development from third year, or should we carry both from second year? Given that he is starting his current coding journey from second year.
Hmm. Okay. So if you're in the second year and if you, okay, I would like to ask a follow-up question to Rahul that is it the first time that you're starting with the DSA?
To be exact, like yeah, he's starting from for the first time.
It's the first time.
Yeah.
So for now, just focus on DSA. Do it for around 6-8 months. Don't try to manage dev and DSA together. Do DSA for 6-8 months. Once the 6-8 months are over, you'll have a medium to good grasp on all this. Okay, so if you're starting from beginning, then you'll have a medium grasp on all these concepts. Then you can try and manage your development along with DSA. So I kid you not, but DSA starting from scratch and solving those recursion, backtracking, graph, DP problems are really not very easy. I have been through. So it takes a good amount of time management, and you need to invest your time to do DSA. So I would personally ask you not to try and manage DSA and development, given that you are starting both of them for the first time. Just focus on DSA. Once you are 6 to 8 months experienced in data structure algorithm, preparation and stuff, then you can go ahead and grab a development stack, whatever you like, blockchain, ML, web application, anything. Then you can see, and you can even use like this point I totally missed in earlier question also. It was basically saying that DSA and actual jobs, whether we have any relation or not. Yes, for data structures only for the data structures. We extensively use them, right, for data structures, even in jobs and even in development. We extensively use queues, stacks, arrays, all these things. So yes, so even if you're doing DSA, sorry, even if you're doing development, DSA is a tool that you can use. So I would ask you personally, take 6 to 8 months, do DSA, then start development. You'll have a lot of time. Honestly, you'll have a lot of time. You're in second year, right? You still have second year entirely, third year entirely, fourth year half. So it's around 2.5 years. You'll have a lot of time, trust me.
Okay. So I guess for today, we will wrap up the official session now. By official, I mean we will still be staying here. We will be having Soumik also with us. So we will be wrapping up the official session because we have a 2 hour time span. After the official session ends with, and we have the thanking session like ended, then we can go forward. The recording will be stopped, and we can have as much chat as we want. Right, guys? Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So Saloni,
Okay.
over to you.
Yeah, so just before we wrap up, I would like to ask Shamik Bhaiya to just like give a summary for the guide of his, his guide to placement summary.
Yeah.
Just a few lines, like just 5 or 6 lines maybe.
Okay, so again, starting off, first identify your goal. That's the first step. Want to be a developer, want to be an ML engineer, whatever you want to be, identify your goal. Second is work on it. Developer, DSA, ML engineer, publish papers, read papers, try to make good ML applications and stuff. Uh, then, okay, yeah, one correction. Even if you're an ML engineer, try to do DSA. If you don't like at all, then that's a different game altogether. But it's always good to have DSA in your toolkit. So DSA is a must, I would say. Do it for the first year. Second year, start either CP or dev, whatever you want to. A lot of people basically diverge into both of these fields. Either they do CP or either they do development. It's not mandatory that you have to select one. You can do both, but I've rarely seen people doing both of them. So do any one of them. Don't take more than 3-4 months to find what you want to do. Try your hands in CP for 3-4 months. Try your hands in development for 3-4 months. Get what you want to do, and do the same for development. I would say do projects, self-made projects. Try to contribute open source. Try to grab one of these programs like MLH or Google GSOC, stuff like that. In your third year, while you are nearing your placements, you have two toolkits in your pocket. One is DSA, the second is development slash CP. In your third year, do DSA again. So DSA again, in the sense, do it this time. Do it for the company. Do it for the online assessment that you want to crack. So be a little goal specific in your third year. Second and first year are basically for exploration. Third and fourth year is basically goal specific preparation. Do more of company preparation, like company wise questions. Do more of topic wise questions. Do that binary search that I told you over link. Try it tonight or whenever you feel like. Sort the questions according to difficulty. Do a binary search on all of them and see what's your max cap, till which questions are you able to solve easily, and try to improve those. You know, try to improve the max cap that you can go in your third year. By the time you are in the fourth year, invest a little time in aptitude, logical reasoning, uh, computer science fundamentals. Yes, this is a very good place to invest your time in. Invest your time in computer science fundamentals by the end of third year or by the start of fourth year. It is very important. Again, I'm assuming that you are going for a like development role. If you're not going for a development role, then chart your path otherwise, like make a path, kind of a roadmap. So do this in your final year. last sem, work on your soft skills. And so basically by the end of your final year first sem, first sem, in your final year first sem, you will be able to have DSA, uh, dev projects to show, right?
Yeah.
You will have good knowledge on these soft skill. You will have good knowledge on aptitude and LR, and these are, trust me, these are all the permutations that you can think of when you are thinking of cracking an interview. So most of the companies have all these all these things revolving around their online assessment, DSA and aptitude and logical reasoning, and good English skills and all this stuff. So that's it. That's the whole toolkit that you need to develop. By the end, you reach your final year.
Okay,
Do it goal by goal. That's the best thing.
Also, we'll release all these in a list and we'll tag it wake code sleep repeat.
yeah, sure. We can also send the mails to the
Yeah,
ones who
we
register.
can send the mails, or we can even contact them. Like, we have a lot of ways to contact. Okay, so
Yeah,
don't worry
sure.
about it. You
Okay,
guys will get.
so thank you for sharing your roadmap with us, and thank you for sharing your insights with us. I'm sure a lot of us have been benefited through this session. So here we come to an end to this session. But before that, I would request the chapter leaders to introduce their clubs and their registration process. So first up, we have Swapnanil Ray from GDSC. Swapnanil, are you here?
Can you give me a minute?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
You can continue with other chapters as well. Just
Sure,
give me a
okay.
minute.
Girish Garg from CIEMK. Girish, are you here from
Yes, I'm here.
CIEMK? Yeah.
Yes, so you can just go to this website called codechefiemcal.com and you can register there with your college's name. You can give your all the details, your CodeChef profile, and you can just be a member of our club. Finally, you can also join our Discord server where we keep on posting all the relevant updates. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So next up we have Dritesh from ACM.
Okay, so for the ACM registration, guys, we do have a form. Arnab, please send it to the people. And what you guys need to do is hop in the form. You guys have all the steps written in. You can just go through the steps. There is a official site, acm.org, where you can go and register. And from there, you will get your membership ID. And once you get your membership ID, you are welcome to the chapter. Okay.
Okay. Next up we have Ahana Mukherjee for CSI.
Hello, this is Ahana Mukherjee. For CSI, the memberships are closed for this year, but it's never too late. You can always try next year. You will get the form, you will get all the information from the faculties as well as from us. But now you can join us in our Discord server. ACM and CSI have a combined Discord server. We have various of programs coming up, boot camps and all. You can all attend that. But for memberships, you have to try next year again. Thank you all.
Okay. Swapnanil, are you ready?
Yep. So really sorry for that. And so yeah, I'm from GDSC, that's Google Developer Student Clubs. And so what we really do is we help you guys dive deep into the world of development. Most of you who are from IEM might know this, might know about this club, but some of you who aren't from IEM, you can join the club. I'll just post the link in the chat box. Just fill up the form. You'll receive a mail with the necessary links and stuff. And stay tuned, and you'll get to see a lot. You'll get to see a lot of opportunities and stuff throughout the year. Like we have a lot of events coming up, and 30 days of Google Cloud is going on and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Okay, so thank you, Swapnil. And for now, let me just go forward with the upcoming events. We do have a lot of boot camp sessions coming up from web dev, from app dev, AIML, and everything. And we will be keep continuing the we'll be continuing this entire guide to placement series. We'll be having a lot more seniors who will be coming up and sharing their experiences. We can ask a little bit more inquisitive and more fun questions to them, and you guys can work on yourself while running these sessions as well. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Not
I
that's it,
think
like we have.
I would also like to add on one thing, that you can find the relevant links in your mail as well. You must have received a mail just before this event.
Yes.
So there you can find the link to all the chapters.
Yeah, just go below in the
in case
mail and
you
you have a
want to join us.
black tag. You just click on that. You will be taken to a link tree and you'll have all those links there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just in case you're interested
Yes.
to join any of the clubs, you can always check that out.
Yeah. And that's for the
Jitesh mentioned the Hacktoberfest part.
yes. We will be talking about Hacktober, but off record, not on record. Okay. So that's it for today. We will be closing the official session for now. So thank you, audience, for your active participation and a lot of patient hearing. I know we have been talking for so long, and you guys have been listening for so long. Your ears must be paining, like wearing your headphones and everything. So thank you for that, for sitting, like bearing with us, and do give us your feedback. And you guys
Yeah,
can
you can.
stay. You guys can
Yeah,
give the
you can.
emojis.
Yeah,
Right?
you can also write your suggestions if you have any in the chat box.
Yes.
We'll
Do write your
surely consider
suggestions.
them.
Yeah. And there's one more thing. We will not be leaving the sessions now. If you want, we'll be closing the recording, but we will be staying here. Shomikda will be staying here. Now we will be having a more informal kind of off record session where you can, like, everyone can unmute yourself and ask anything you want. This will not go on record and nobody is here to blame you for anything. Okay. So I guess that's it. And thank you for joining.
Also, yeah, this the session is being recorded and it will be uploaded on the YouTube, so you can
Yes.
also follow us.
Both the YouTubes of CIEMK and Google
In
DSC, you
GDSC.
can go and check out this recording later on as well. Okay. So thank you guys and good night for today. So we can now
Thank
shut the
you.
recording, right?